Hello everybody, this is a new tutorial that I'm going to show you guys how to do, and this is going to be a tutorial on how to replace the glass in an iPhone 6 Plus screen. Alright, let's get started. So first thing we are going to do is we're going to make sure we have a clean table, and we're going to grab these pliers right here, and those pliers are going to work to cut the metal frame on the side. As you can see, I'm pointing it out right there, the metal frame. Right, so make sure your LCD has that heat resisting tape in the back. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's in the upper top area where the touch IC would be at. Okay, so right now I'm just taking off the metallic frame, and here in a second I'll speed it up so you guys don't have to wait a little bit more for the second one. Okay, once all that's done, we're going to utilize this machine right here, and this is to cut the polarizer, but we're just going to use the top area to heat up the sides in order to remove the excess of plastic that's on the side. As you can see right there, I'm peeling it off. Okay, so we're going to do the same side but in the upper area. Alright, I'm just fast forwarding it here in a little bit so you guys don't have to wait. Like I said, this is another procedure here. The same procedure is just in the same, the other side of the frame. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next step, and that means applying tape to the other side of the glass, well, the other side of the screen, so it can stick on the next step. Alright, once that is done, we're going to move on to the next step, and that is removing the actual glass. So we're going to use a suction hot plate that suctions in the glass and keeps it steady for us to remove it with a thin wire. This also provides heat on the bottom area so it can soften up the glue or the adhesive that they use. Okay, as you can see, I'm doing a side-to-side motion, and this will help with the removal. Be careful not to do it too hard, or else you could actually dig into the actual LCD. Alright, so this step, I'm not fast forwarding it so you guys can see the whole procedure, and you can see how careful I am that in the bottom area. I don't want to fracture this cable in the top area. I didn't point it out in the video. I'll try my best to show you guys in the next step. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut the polarizer, and the reason we don't do it with the other machine from earlier is because it tends to cut the LCD as well, and we don't want that, so we use a different method. I don't know if you guys can see, but on the top ribbon area I say in the previous step that you guys need to be careful, and it's because there's this cable running on the top area that does the actual touch, but detects the actual touch. So right now I'm just setting it on a mold, and I'm going to use a hot knife, and I'm just going to slowly dig into the polarizer and then do a side-to-side motion in order to actually remove it. As you can see, I'm just going from a corner slowly. Okay, so you can see I'm already starting to dig in as the hot knife digs in. I'm not going too hard, and I do that side-to-side motion, you can see, and then I do a sudden stop up there. I don't want to go all the way out, or else I'll cut the top cable that I was talking about earlier. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the procedure of actually getting the glue removed. We're going to use a special liquid that I'll show you guys here in a little bit. I'm just showing you guys, see, the tape is right there, and you can see the top area, it's not damaged either. Alright, so I'm going to use this mold that I grabbed in. Okay, so now I'm placing it in the LCD. I'm going to apply some clean room fabric on top of it so I can do the next step. You could probably use a different type of fabric, but I like to use the clean room fabric. It's quite thin. Okay, so that is the liquid that we're going to use today. I'll show you guys how to utilize it here in a sec. Okay, so with the pipette, we are going to apply this liquid. Do not apply too much, or else it can actually go under the LCD, and that is not a good thing. You'll have this water-like damage screen. As you can see, I only applied to like small chunks. Okay, so I'm just rubbing it in, making sure it spreads a little bit all over the screen. Okay, so we're just checking in, see how it's going. As soon as we notice that it's actually sticking to the fabric, we're going to move on to the next step, which is cleaning. Alright, so we're just letting it sit right now, and we're about to remove. As you can see, the actual glue stuck to the fabric, and with the same fabric, we're going to clean the rest of it. Okay, so there is a small little problem I encounter in the bottom corner on the left hand side. You can see a small chunk of polarizer, but that's easily fixable with a knife. Well, first I'm going to clean the LCD with some 95% alcohol. I do strongly recommend to use gloves whenever doing this step. The alcohol tends to dry your hands pretty badly, and it can start peeling your skin off eventually. Okay, so I'm just cleaning everything over, and I'll get to that corner right now in a sec. Alright, so as you can see, I'm pointing it out right there. I'm going to grab a knife or a little razor, and I'm just going to dig it under and peel it off. And with the fabric that we used to clean the actual glue, we're going to clean that off since it still has the liquid or the chemical on it. Alright, so once we notice it's gone, then we clean again just that little area with the 95% alcohol. Okay, and with another clean fabric, we're going to clean the whole LCD. And I'm just doing small touches. You don't have to really clean it perfectly, but I like to be a little bit more careful. I like to have a dust-free LCD and with no smudges. Okay, so to the next step, we're going to apply the polarizer. And we're going to stick a strong sticky on the side where the actual blue line is at. As you can see, I pointed out right there. And I stick that side and slowly, carefully pull that side out. Make sure you're in a dust-free environment where you can actually do this, or else you will get dust in either side, and you don't want that since it will leave a little bump between the polarizer and the actual screen. And this will be further escalated once we get to the next steps. As you can see, I'm doing small adjustments here. This is to prevent cutting the polarizer later to accommodate for the LCD. So I just try to do it all perfectly at once and not have to cut small pieces of the polarizer later. Okay, as you can see, everything is perfect, and then I do a small, gently pressure application in the bottom area so it can stick. Alright, so here in the next step, I'll be using a roller, and it's this blue roller right there. So I'm going to pass it across. I like to take it easy, but since I have a little bit more experience, I can go a little bit harder on it, and it would actually stay perfectly. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see, but there is some little bubbles in the top area and the corners. I zoomed in right now so you guys can see, and with the small pick, I'm just gently passing over the polarizer so it can actually stick into the LCD. Okay, so we are just gently passing it over all four corners, or four sides, I would like to say actually. Just gently pass it. Do not go too hard or else you could damage your LCD. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next step, which is applying this paste on the corners. And this paste, they told me that it was to ground the LCD to the top corners if those corners were broken, but as you can see, there's small little like pins on that area, so we want to cover those with this little paste. In the past, I applied a glass on top of the LCD with applying the paste, and I saw no difference, but I believe it can lead to no touch response after applying the glass. So I always recommend to apply the paste, even though it may or may not be necessary. We don't want to risk wasting a glass on the non-working LCD. Alright, and just to confirm that the actual LCD works with the polarizer and everything, we're going to connect everything to a test board. So right now I'm just connecting it, and I'm going to take a little bit right here, but with the art of editing, I'm just going to cut to where it shows the Apple logo and I can actually do some touches on the screen. Okay, so I'm just going to fast forward here so you guys don't have to wait for the iPhone to boot up and show us home screen so we can do some tests. Okay, as you can see, the actual touchscreen works. Once we get to confirm that, then we're going to disconnect battery first and last LCD. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next step, which is actually applying the glass. So we're going to utilize this special mold. I know it's pink, but it's alright. It's just a mold. We're going to use another strong sticky and remove the protective layer of the polarizer. Alright, once that protective layer is off, we're going to place it under a fan that's blowing. It's blowing air, filtered air. Alright, so here is the screen, or at the actual glass I want to say, and we're going to remove the protective plastic that protects the adhesive. We're going to place it over gently, and then once we are sure that it's all lined up, we do a small firm press and we have a small dot. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the press machine. We're going to turn it on, and we're going to use a small like mold sponge, like I want to say. We're going to place it there, and then we're going to place the screen over it. As you can see, it has a small cutout for the square, well, I want to say the touch IC on the actual screen or the LCD. And we're just going to place it there. Alright, so we're going to close it, turn on the press machine, and wait for it to finish. This procedure takes about 10 minutes, depending on your setup and how long you have it for. Okay, once the procedure is done, then you can see that we have a perfect LCD with glass. Oh, and I almost broke it there. Okay, so we're going to move on to testing, and as you can see, the actual glass and the LCD works. Alright, well, thanks for watching and have a good day.